Hello guys, welcome back to another video. Today we are going over the Czech Republic iceberg. Let's dive in. Prague. Prague is the capital city of the Czech Republic, located in Central Europe along the Vltava River. It's known for its well-preserved medieval architecture, including Prague Castle, Charles Bridge, and the Old Town Square. Prague has a long history as a major cultural and political center, once serving as the capital of the Kingdom of Bohemia and later Czechoslovakia. Charles Bridge. Charles Bridge is a historic stone bridge in Prague, built in the 14th century during the reign of King Charles IV. It spans the Vltava River, connecting the Old Town with Prague Castle. The bridge is famous for its 30 Baroque statues, added mainly in the 17th and 18th centuries. It has been a key symbol of Prague and an important route for trade and royal processions for centuries. Pilsner beer. Pilsner beer is a light, golden lager that originated in Plzeň in 1842. It was the first pale lager, known for its clear appearance, crisp taste, and balanced bitterness from noble hops. The original version, Pilsner Urquell, set the standard for many modern lagers around the world. Bohemian Crystal. Bohemian crystal refers to high-quality glassware made in the Bohemia region, famous since the 13th century. It's known for its clarity, brilliance, and intricate cut designs, often used for decorative and functional items like vases, chandeliers, and drinkware. Bohemian crystal became especially popular in the 18th and 19th centuries across Europe and remains a symbol of luxury and craftsmanship. Antonín Dvořák. Antonín Dvořák was a famous Czech composer known for blending traditional Bohemian folk music with classical music styles. Some of his most famous works include the New World Symphony, Slavonic Dances, and Cello Concerto. Dvořák played a key role in bringing Czech music to international audiences during the late 19th century. Jan Hus. Jan Hus was a Czech religious reformer and early critic of the Catholic Church's practices. He preached against church corruption and called for reforms, inspiring the Hussite movement and influencing later Protestant Reformation leaders. Hus was declared a heretic and burned at the stake in 1415, but his ideas sparked major religious and social upheaval in Bohemia. Velvet Revolution. The Velvet Revolution was a peaceful protest movement in Czechoslovakia in 1989 that led to the end of communist rule. It started with mass demonstrations demanding political reform, freedom, and democracy, inspired by changes happening across Eastern Europe. The movement successfully forced the communist government to resign without violence, marking a smooth transition to a democratic government. Prague Spring. The Prague Spring was a brief period of political liberalization in Czechoslovakia during 1968, under the leadership of Alexander Dubček. It aimed to create socialism with a human face by introducing reforms like freedom of speech, press, and movement while keeping a communist government. However, the Soviet Union and other Warsaw Pact countries invaded Czechoslovakia in August 1968 to stop these changes, ending the reforms with a military crackdown. Kingdom of Bohemia. The Kingdom of Bohemia was a historical state in Central Europe, roughly corresponding to the modern-day Czech Republic. It existed from the 12th century until 1918 and was part of the Holy Roman Empire and later the Austro-Hungarian Empire. Bohemia was a rich and culturally important kingdom, famous for its medieval cities like Prague, its mining wealth, and as a center of early Protestantism during the Hussite Wars. Kafka. Franz Kafka was a German-speaking Czech writer born in Prague, famous for his surreal, complex stories that explore themes of alienation, bureaucracy, and existential anxiety. His most famous works include The Metamorphosis, The Trial, and The Castle. Kafka's writing style and themes gave rise to the term Kafkaesque, describing situations that are nightmarishly complex and illogical. The Hussite Wars. The Hussite Wars were a series of religious conflicts in Bohemia, early 15th century, sparked by followers of Jan Hus, who challenged the Catholic Church's authority and practices. After Hus was executed in 1415, his supporters fought against crusades launched by the Church and the Holy Roman Empire to suppress their movement. The wars lasted from 1419 to 1434 and featured innovative military tactics by the Hussites, including the use of war wagons. The defenestrations of Prague were two famous incidents where people were thrown out of windows, sparking major conflicts in Czech history. The first defenestration involved radical Hussite protesters throwing Catholic city officials out of a window of the new town hall in Prague. This event helped ignite the Hussite Wars. The second defenestration saw Protestant nobles throw two Catholic governors and their secretary from a castle window, triggering the 30 Years' War, one of Europe's deadliest conflicts. Tomáš Masaryk. Tomáš Masaryk was a Czech philosopher, politician, and the founding president of Czechoslovakia. He played a key role in leading the country to independence from Austria-Hungary after World War I in 1918. Masaryk promoted democracy, human rights, and education, shaping the new nation's identity. Czechoslovakia founding. Czechoslovakia was founded in 1918 at the end of World War I, following the collapse of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. Czech and Slovak leaders, especially Tomáš Garrigue Masaryk, pushed for independence with support from the Allied powers. On October 28, 1918, the new state was officially declared. Lidice Massacre. The Lidice Massacre occurred in 1942 during World War II after the assassination of Nazi official Reinhard Heydrich. As retaliation, German forces destroyed the Czech village of Lidice, executing the men and deporting the women and children. The village was completely erased to serve as a warning against resistance. The Velvet Divorce. The Velvet Divorce refers to the peaceful split of Czechoslovakia into two independent countries, the Czech Republic and Slovakia, on January 1, 1993. After the fall of communism, differences in politics, economics, and national identity led to the decision to separate. Unlike many splits around the world, it was smooth and nonviolent, hence the name Velvet, echoing the earlier Velvet Revolution. Jan Žižka. Jan Žižka was a famous Czech military leader and one of the most important commanders of the Hussite Wars. Despite losing one eye early in life, he became known for his brilliant tactics and leadership of the Hussite forces against crusading armies sent by the Catholic Church. Žižka is famous for using innovative strategies like war wagons and guerrilla warfare. The Raudnice Bible. The Raudnice Bible, a famous illuminated manuscript created in the early 15th century in Bohemia. It's one of the oldest and most beautifully decorated Czech translations of the Bible, reflecting the rich religious and artistic culture of medieval Bohemia. The manuscript features elaborate illustrations and Gothic script, making it an important artifact of Czech history and Christian art. The Moravian Church. The Moravian Church, also known as the Unity of the Brethren, is a Protestant Christian denomination that originated in the historical region of Moravia in the 15th century. It was founded by followers of Jan Hus, who sought to practice a simple, Bible-focused faith, emphasizing community, piety, and missionary work. The Moravian Church became known for its early and active missionary efforts worldwide, especially in the 18th century. Leoš Janáček. Leoš Janáček was a Czech composer whose music deeply influenced 20th century classical music and Czech national culture. Known for blending traditional Moravian folk music with modernist techniques, his works often use speech rhythms and local melodies. Famous compositions include the operas Janufa, The Cunning Little Vixen, and Kata Kabanova, as well as orchestral pieces like Sinfonietta. The Taborites. The Taborites were a radical faction of the Hussite movement in early 15th century Bohemia. Centered in the town of Tabor, they rejected many Catholic traditions and pushed for religious equality and social reform. They were highly militant and played a major role in the Hussite Wars, using innovative tactics alongside leaders like Jan Žižka. Žižka's war wagons. Žižka's war wagons were a revolutionary military tactic used during the Hussite Wars in the early 15th century. Under the leadership of Jan Žižka, wagons were reinforced with wood and iron, armed with cannons, guns, and crossbows, and arranged into defensive formations called wagon forts. These mobile fortresses allowed poorly equipped infantry to defeat heavily armored knights and cavalry. The Krkonoše Fairy Tales. The Krkonoše Fairy Tales is a classic Czech children's TV series that first aired in the 1970s. It is set in the Krkonoše Mountains and centers on the mountain spirit Krkonoš, who protects nature and punishes greed and injustice. The stories often contrast Krkonoše's wisdom with the foolishness and selfishness of human characters like the innkeeper Trautenberg. The Bohemian Reformation. The Bohemian Reformation was a religious reform movement in Bohemia during the late 14th and 15th centuries, predating the Protestant Reformation by about a century. It was inspired by thinkers like Jan Hus, who criticized corruption in the Catholic Church and called for reforms based on the Bible. After Hus was executed in 1415, his ideas led to widespread resistance and the Hussite movement and wars. And that was the end of the Czech Republic Iceberg. Thanks for watching, and bye.